Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing okay. How are you doing?
La
How are you
emisión
doing
está
today?
comenzando. Todos los
Thank you for
asistentes están
joining
en
us
modo de
today's
solo
webinar.
escucha.
And before we start, let me see if everyone has everything working properly. Please send a text message. Send a message through the system to see if everyone has audio and video working correctly. If you can help me out with that, please. I just need to check that everyone is working correctly. So just send any message. You can send greetings from wherever you are, so that we can know that you have audio and video, and if we can check that out, we can start. So please send any message right now, and after we confirm that you are ready, we can start. Okay. Let's see. It seems that everyone has audio. Okay. I can hear and see. Good to go. Greeting from Trinidad. Okay, we're good. We're good here in McAllen, R&B Spytech, working good. Yeah, we have both. Thanks. Okay, it seems that everything's ready. Okay, well, first let me introduce myself. My name is Leonardo Hernandez. I'm an engineer from EPCOM, and I'm working directly with the CCTV systems. Okay, and today we are having this webinar that is about TurboHD systems. Okay, we're going to be working with these systems, and we're going to see what is it about, and what lines do we have, and what can you do, and what do you need to use one of these systems. Okay, so let's get started. At the end of the webinar, we will have a time for questions, and yeah, after that, if you have any more questions, or whenever you have a project, and if you didn't have the question at this moment, you can send us a message, an email, and I will leave her my contact at the end of the presentation so that you can get in touch with us, and do not hesitate to give us a call or send us an email. Okay, so let's get started with this webinar. Okay, let me see, and here we go. Okay, TurboHD, stylish designs, highest quality for the most demanding applications. Okay, so what is TurboHD? So when we are talking about TurboHD, what are we talking about? Okay, TurboHD is a technology that gives high definition video over UTP cable using balloons. That means that you will have 720p and 1080p resolution, but over coaxial cable or UTP cable. Okay, and this is very interesting because you're not in the past with the lowest resolution cameras, the 900 lines, 700 lines. Now you can reach up to high definition full HD. That is a standard resolution for nowadays TVs and screens. And then you can have a highest resolution on the image, so you can have higher detail or information whenever you try to see what's going on your screen. Okay, the advantage that you can find out in this technology is that you can have long distance for a high definition camera, even though it's using wiring, and it offers you a transparent upgrade from a normal analog system using the same wiring. So what are we talking about with this? Imagine that you have a customer, and the customer has an old analog system. You know, he bought like a regular DVR and regular cameras like 10 years ago or 5 years ago, and now he needs a high resolution camera, but he's not he cannot do all the invest, you know, to change the whole system for an IP system, that where you have to change the DVR for the NVR, you have to change all the wiring, or maybe do a point-to-point connection and all the cameras, and he has to pretty much throw away everything he has, you know, because it's going to be worthless for him. But with this system, he can just buy the DVR, and the DVR will be compatible with the analog cameras, so he can get the DVR and some of the new cameras, some of the TurboHD cameras for high resolution, and use the same wiring. He does not have to change the wiring. He can use the same wiring, just replace the camera, replace the balloon, and connect to the DVR, and the DVR will automatically detect the signal for analog cameras and TurboHD cameras, and they can work together in the same environment. So that way the customer can buy a new camera and see how it works, see the new and highest resolution, and he will love it. And in that way, he will definitely go ahead for the rest of the cameras. And if he can't afford it right away, he can do it like on monthly basis or whenever he can. So we are not forcing the user to make a big investment on the CCTV system, because he has not to do it. He has the option to just replace the DVR and little by little go and change all the cameras. And that will help us a lot, because depending on the project, sometimes you do not need a 2 megapixel camera, because the space that where you're using it is so small, like a hall, like a small hall. You don't need a 2 megapixel camera to be, you know, looking at the space, and you can use a 900 TV lines camera, but that will save a lot space on the hard drive or on the network. So that's another way to use it. Okay, since it's like an analog system, it's an easy configuration, just like a regular DVR. You don't have to go through all the setup for the IP addresses and the MAC addresses and all that configuration that sometimes it's not that easy to make. You just plug in the power, you just plug in the video, and that's it. You're good to go. Okay. But the highest advantage that you will find out here in this technology is that you will have prices below HD, SDI, and IP systems. So what does that mean? That means that we will have a high resolution system, but a price lower and pretty much close, pretty much the same as an analog system. So that's really interesting, and it's worth to take a look, because if we can have a high resolution system at the lowest price on the market, well, that will make us to be very competitive. So what do we need? What do we need to have a Turbo HD system? Well, first of all, we will need Turbo HD volumes. Okay, these are the suggested models that we have. The UTP cable must be 100% Cooper. Okay, if it's not 100% Cooper, the distance will be shorter. Okay, and you have to know that the Turbo HD DVRs are compatible with analog cameras, Turbo HD cameras, 720 and 1080p, and IP cameras. And there is a rule for the IP cameras. We will see ahead. How can we know how many IP cameras can we manage? Okay. And in that way, the customer can replace only the DVR and a few cameras to upgrade the system. And as I said before, little by little, you can go changing and replacing all the other cameras. Okay. So what kind of cameras do we have? Well, as you can see here, we have a few of models. We have the eyeball, we have the bullet camera, which will be with a varifocal lens. We have the XR bullet camera. Okay, we have the outdoor dome camera. We have the indoor camera. We have the mini bullet, and we have it in two colors. And we have some other models that as you can see, we have the speed dome, and we have on the XR which has an interesting technology, because you cannot see the LEDs on the camera. only when they are turned on, which is pretty cool. Okay, we have the speed dump, and the speed dump will have an advantage of working with the TurboHD system, with the TVI system. We will see what it's all about. Okay, when it comes to the DVRs, okay, here's what we need to pay attention. Okay, if we are working with the EV series, on the 4-channel DVR, you will have one additional camera as an IP camera. On the 8 and 16 channels, you will have 2 IP cameras, and they will work at 1 megapixel at 50 images per second. Okay, but if you look at the XS7324 and 8116 HQH-ISH, those can become full IP cameras. For example, if we take out the XS7324 HD, that is for 24 channels plus 8 IP cameras, or you can turn off all the analog channels and become 32 channels IP cameras, and they can be 2 megapixels at 15 images per second. Okay, so it's a higher, it's a more powerful DVR, and that will depend on what do you need. For example, if you have a school and you have like 15 cameras that gonna be using cable, UTP cable, but you have another cameras that are gonna be far away for the parking lot or for the corners of the place. Okay, so it's gonna be far away, and you need to use a wireless connection. Okay, that's no problem, because you can add all the IP cameras you need, and you can use wire for the ones that are gonna be like in a short distance, so that's not a problem. And another difference that you will find out is that the EV series will have 2 hard drives. Both are 4 terabytes, and on the 73 series they're going to be 4 hard drives, so it's going to be twice the amount of storage that you will have. And on the EV series, you will find out that it has the HDMI and VGA output, and on the 73 you will have the BNC, the HDMI and VGA output, plus you will have input and output for alarm if you have a system for panel alarm systems already, and audio input and output. So it depends on the series that you want to choose for whatever the project you may have. And for the 8116 HQ, that one is the one that can record all the channels, all the TVI channels at full frame. Okay, and that will depend on the environment that you will develop the CCTV system. How can we understand this? There is no reason to use a camera at full frame if you're working at that office. Why? Because the people right there is not running. They're not rushing anywhere. You're not gonna have objects moving so fast that 15 images per second or 10 images per second will not suffice to see them what they're doing. But if you do it that way, you will save a lot of space on a hard drive and a lot of bandwidth if you're making a transmission. When we have environments with high-speed movements like a casino, like city surveillance, that you're gonna be recording cars that are driving like a high speed, well, then you need full frame or even higher. So that's when you will use an 8116 HQ, or if the customer is requesting that for you because whatever the reason they have, well, in that case you will use the XS 8116 for full frame recording. Okay, so when we have our customers or end users and we talk about 2 megapixels, when we talk about full HD, when we talk about HD, well, they probably do not know what we mean. So how can we explain that to them? if we're talking about 1080p, 720p, they're gonna be like, okay, 1080p, but they don't know what we're talking about, so we have to show them the difference. And as you can see, there is a V8 Turbo 1080p and there is an HRP 900, and the difference on the resolution is, as you can see, there is a much more detail at the first image than the one below. And even on this image, we cannot see completely the difference. But why is that? Because the image is cropped, you know, it's small image. If we have a lower resolution camera, and we see it on a cell phone, it will look like that it has a nice image. Why? Because the screen is small. But if we put that image on a 15 inches TV screen, the image will be really, really blurry. Why? Because it does not have enough definition and resolution for such a big screen. So what are we saying? That whenever we try to do a zoom, like you see now, you will have no definition of what's going on. Here on the IVMS 4200, when we use the digital zoom, and the image that is on the right side, you cannot even tell what is that. You see some object that is white and some other object that is black, okay, but you don't know what it is. So if you're trying to find out the face of a person or a plate or whatever you're looking for, if you try to do a digital zoom, you will lose all the information that you thought you had, okay? And in the image below, we can actually read that is 7204 series, that is a box, and you can see an NVR over there, and you can see much clearer image, and that information actually is worth for you. So the investment that you made for your CCTV is worth. Let's make believe that there is a bank, okay, and it has a low resolution camera, and there is a person that enters and robs the bank. He enters to rob the bank, okay, and you have the camera and you have to make a zoom, but you don't know who it is. Why? Because you lose all the details when you did the zoom, so it's worthless. So that information is worth nothing. So the idea is that whenever you need to make a zoom, whenever you need to look for a detail, you have the enough resolution to guarantee that information. And that's what this all about. You will have that quality with this technology, okay? So you can see the difference. It's pretty obvious, but this is something that you can show to the end user so that he will understand what you're talking about. Because you cannot talk about technologies, you cannot talk about numbers, because they may or they may not understand. So you have to show them what it's like a low resolution camera and a high resolution camera. Don't just say 2 megapixel, 1 megapixel. That will be not enough, okay? So you can actually show this to them, and it's a good way for them to know what's the difference. Okay, one of the features that we would like to introduce you is the ezviz function using IVMS 4200 and website. The ezviz function, remember, that is for you to be able to look at your devices remotely through the internet without the needing to do the mapping port that you will usually do on the regular system, on a traditional system. This will do it automatically for you, so that you don't have to go through all the process of do the mapping port, and well, that will depend on every company, every phone company that you may have, and the route that it will provide. Some of them will let you do it, some of them will not, but if they don't, you can use this system to do the link between the device and the remote clients without having to do the mapping port, okay? Now, one of the coolest things that you may find out about this technology is that whenever you have a camera that has inspection functions or speed dump, With a traditional analog system, you have to use the port RS485 and set up protocol, set up baud rate, set up ID, and you have to do it on the speed dump, on the DVR, and the keyboard. If you do it wrong, it won't move, it won't work. You cannot call the special functions, you cannot move the speed dump. So if you didn't check it out and you did the installation and you didn't have the caution to look at this setup when you were installing, what you have to do is go back, take down the speed dump, set up everything, and then go back. Well, that's over with the TurboHD systems. Why? Because now all the data goes through the video cable. Okay, you don't have to set up anything. All you have to do is, as it's shown right here, just click menu and you call the menu of the camera, and you don't have to give different IDs on every one of them, because now it communicates through everyone's cable, so it's separated from each one. You don't have to do any special configuration. You just plug power, plug video, and that's it. You have data communication. So if the camera has special functions, you can call the menu. You can call the menu right here, just with one click here, and you call the menu and you enter setup and you enter all the special functions like WDR, like digital noise reduction, like digital zoom, like BLC, HLC, whatever the function that the camera has, you can call it right away without the needing of extra wiring or extra configuration. That is, in the past, all you need is power and video, and it will link automatically and set up automatically. You don't have to do anything, and that is very important, and it's very cool, because it's easier for the end user to manage the speed dumps, to manage the cameras. Even with IP systems, when you have an IP system, you have to set up the address, you have to set up the subnet mask, you have to set up everything, and if something goes bad, well, you won't have access, and you have to have certain level of knowledge to do it. Here there is nothing like that. You just plug power, video, and you have data connection, and that's it. And you can have as many cameras as you want on the system, well, as the DVR allows you, and every single one of them will allow you to do this separately without having to do any setup, any configuration. It's out of the board. You don't have to do it. Okay, it's automated by the system, and it's like it's just like the technology works. Okay, so don't worry about that. All you have to do is press menu, or as you can see the arrows for the speed dump control, you just have to click and it will start moving, just like that. Okay, and remember, this will work on the UTC function. Okay, now in the past we will require of a monitor to change the output resolution, but now we can do it directly through the network. So if you don't have a monitor, you don't have to worry about, because you just plug it into the network and you can go here and you can set up the standard resolution that you wanna have, because not all the TVs will be 1080p. They might be like a computer monitor, which will have different resolutions. Okay, so you can do it right here, there's no problem, and you can choose whatever, if it is BNC output or the HDMI or VGA output. Okay, you can also do the upgrade remotely for the IPC cameras. You also have the option. You just need to have the right firmware and have the cameras on the network, so that you can look it up for them. You can look it up for the firmware and do the upgrade directly. Okay, this is a new feature. Just remember to keep an eye on the version of the firmware and the right model, because if you go ahead and you got the model wrong, well, you gotta call our technical support to help you to get back the camera. Okay. So what else do we have? What else do we have? Well, on these DVRs we will have two video analyses that you may use in on one channel. We have intrusion detection. Okay, as you can see in the image, we will select a certain area, okay, where we have to manage some event. Okay, what kind of events? Well, as you can see here, it says arming schedule. We can set up the schedule like on the weekends on a certain time, like during lunchtime. There's not supposed to be anyone here on this area. Okay, so you select the area, you select times, and you enable the function. Okay, and you decide which camera will have it. Okay, and you tell it what linkage method you will want to use. It can either notify to the surveillance center, it can send you an image, okay, or it can set up an alarm output. And with that, you can decide what do you want to do. If you use an alarm output, yeah, well, you can, I don't know, maybe set up a fire system, or even a horn. I don't know, whatever the action you wanna use, but with the alarm outputs connection. That will depend on you, what you want to do. You can close the doors, you can open the doors, whatever you want to do is pretty much up to the needing of the customer. Okay, but you have this option to do the linking. Okay, and you will select the area. For example, I don't know, maybe a parking space that is reserved for the manager, for someone, or some areas that you don't want the people to have access, like the cashier, or whatever place that you don't want them to have access, that you want to know if someone goes there. Okay, and here on the IVMS, if you click notify surveillance center, you will have the notification here, as you can see in the image below. Okay, detects the event and sends you a cropped image, and it tells you what happened. Okay, so you gotta pay attention to that. And the other one that we have, it's similar, but this one is crossing line detection. Okay, whenever we want to know if someone crossed a line that is forbidden, or just to control, just to know that someone goes through, we can set up this function. Okay, and you can decide whether it is in one direction or another, or you can choose both directions. Okay, and you can also notify the surveillance center. You can have an audio warning. Okay, you can send it to an image. You can send through image to an email, and you can also put the full screen so the person that is in charge to look at the cameras will know that something happened. Okay, and there, well, you can set up all the parameters here. Okay, and you decide the direction, A to B, B to A, only B, only A. Okay, and you decide the schedule where you want to work. On this example, it's all day long. Okay, so those two features will be within all of our DVRs. That is a feature from the DVR, and you can set them up in the way you want it to work. Okay. Another feature that we will look is at the IVMS 4200. We will have the fisheye expansion. Okay, this is a regular camera, and this is not a fisheye camera. This is a regular camera, a bullet camera. But if we use that feature, now we will have the option to use different spotlight, because we will have 3D, or we will have the views as if we were on a fisheye camera. So we will do we can do like if we had a speed dump, but it's on a digital image. Okay, we can actually move the image as if we're on a speed camera, on speed down camera. We will have pan, tilt, and zoom movement on the image, but it's a regular camera, like a bullet camera, a dumb camera, and it's going to be digital. So the higher resolution, the better response that we will have. Okay. Now, one of the things that you will find out on these DVRs, on this TurboHD, on this Epcom brand, is that we will have the option of the OneDrive. So what is OneDrive? OneDrive is a function for recording on the cloud, okay, which allows the user to back up information in case that the hard drive or the DVR gets damaged. So what does that mean? What does that mean? That means that we can actually store our information on the internet. If we have a bad situation and our business gets robbed, or there is I don't know, there's a fire or some event, some bad event, and the DVR or the hard drive get damaged, or just because someone unplugged the DVR and when you plug it back the hard drive got damaged because it's very sensitive to those spikes of voltage, okay? Something happened and the hard drive got damaged. Well, with the OneDrive you have a backup on the internet, okay? So whatever the reason that DVR or the hard drive got damaged, you have a backup. And that is very, very, very important because it's like a failover system. And you have your information. If someone stole the DVR, that's okay because you can just log into your account and download the video and you will see the person who did it, okay? So it's a pretty cool and very, very important function that you have to know. And you will have it here on the EV series, EV Turbo series, okay? And we will have to know a few things so that we can set it up, okay? First of all, this feature does not support all-day recording, okay? You cannot be recording 24/7 and enable this option, okay? So how does it work? Well, the backup supports only the next option for record, okay? Motion detection, ARM input, and video analysis that we just saw, intrusion detection, and line crossing, okay? So that means that only with the special events we can have the backup, okay? It is really important for you to remember this so that you can work with it properly, okay? And the most important part is that it must have an internal hard drive and it must be recording, okay? That's because the files that are sending to the cloud, to the internet storage server, are taken directly from the hard drive, okay? So if we do not have a hard drive, it won't work. So remember that and set up the record option through these three options, okay? Motion detection, alarm input, and video analysis, okay? It's very important that you do it this way because otherwise it won't work, okay? So this is OneDrive and it's for the EV series, okay? And here are some of the accessories that you will find out for Epcom TurboHD cameras and devices. Okay, remember we have to use these special volumes. Okay, if we have an old or traditional analog system, we will change only the volumes, only the cameras, and we will use the same wiring. One of the things that you have to remember is that over Cat5 UTP cable you can reach up to 250 meters, and over coaxial cable it will be 500 meters, okay? And if you need longer distance, as we talked in the past, you can use an XS73 series or 81 and use IP cameras. And well, now that we are not, remember that it has to be our IP cameras, so the protocol won't have any problem. If you have any doubt of which cameras can you use, you can give us a call, and you can get in touch with the engineer department, and we will let you know which cameras can you use and the specifications of each camera. Should be regularly, normally it will be like 1 megapixels, 2 megapixels, depending on the model. and it will all be about the bitrate and the image per second. Remember that you always have to pay an eye on it and to make it work properly. Again, if this is an analog system, okay, but since it's high resolution, you have to take the considerations as if it were an IP system. What does that mean? That means that on an analog system, since it's a lower resolution, the amount of the quantity of hard drives that you need to back up, like for cameras amount, it will be just one hard drive, like 1 terabyte, 500 gigabytes. It will be okay because the bit rate is very low. But since this is full HD, it's 2 megapixels, you have to take considerations the same you do it with an IP system. So for that, remember, we have the special tools called high vision tools that will help us to develop this project and to decide and to know what how many hard drives do we need, basing on the specifications that we gave. Like, it's going to be 8 cameras, 8 megapixel, 2 megapixel, 8 cameras, 2 megapixels, and they're going to have like 12 images per second, and the bit rate is going to be 2.7 megabytes. In that way, the program will calculate, okay, you need to back up like a month. It will tell you, I don't know, like 16 terabytes, okay? 16 terabytes, okay, so the EV series has 2 hard drives. I cannot do it that way, so I gotta go to the 73 series because they have four slots for hard drives, and each one is 4 terabytes, so I can do it with that one. So we won't make any mistake if we do it that way. If we go back here, that will be one of the main topics to decide which one of these series can we use. The amount of storage, and we have to do this calculation so that we don't recommend or buy the wrong DVR. So remember, if you don't know the answer to let's make believe that the user asks you, okay, I want a system for 10 cameras, and I want to buy 2 terabytes hard drive, and I want to be recording 24/7, and I want 2 megapixel cameras. What do you say? How do you tell him, okay, and he asks you, okay, with 2 terabytes, how long or how many days are you going to back me up? For how many days am I going to have information? If you don't have the tool, you will not know how to answer, because you may say, well, it usually is around 2 weeks, it might be 3 weeks. Well, that may be for a 900 TB line camera. That may be if you're using motion detection. That may be. There is too many options. There is too many factors that influence on the amount of time that you can back up, okay? So for that, you don't have to be guessing. Please go ahead and download the tool Hikvision Tools. I can give you later the link, or I can send it to your email. And with the Hikvision Tools, you can actually do the calculation and tell them with facts, okay, base it on resolution, image per seconds, bit rate, amount of time that you want to record. Okay, you will need this DVR and this amount of hard drives. Okay, so there is always a way to do it right. There is always a way to recommend properly a DVR, so keep it in mind so that you don't make any mistakes. Okay. All right, so this is the TVI technology. Remember, you will need special volumes. You can use the same wiring as long as it is 100% Cooper. You will need TurboHD DVR, and this is compatible with regular analog cameras, TurboHD cameras, and IP cameras. Okay, and there is no rule to say like, for cameras Turbo HD, for analog, no. The only rule comes to the EV series with the IP cameras, and on the 73 there's no rule. You can use all IP cameras, all analog or Turbo HD, all of them. There is no rule there. Okay. And well, I know that there's going to be a lot of questions. Please, if you have any questions, this will be the moment. Okay. And maybe a lot of you don't know this technology, didn't know this technology. Maybe a lot of you did. If you have any problem, if you have had any problem and it has not been resolved, please go ahead and you can send me an email. Let me put here just my email. Let me add here. Okay, so that you can see it. Or you can send it here. Okay. So whenever you have any doubt, you can get in touch with us. You can call here directly to EPCAM. And whenever you need to develop a project and you don't know which DVR to use, or you don't know if you can use the same wiring, or you're wondering about the distance, or you're wondering about what kind of cameras can you use, or you have any question, any doubt, please do not hesitate. Give us a call, send us an email, or if you're local, you can come here and we can help you out to develop the project. That is one of the things that you have to remember about us, that whenever you work with us, it doesn't matter if you do not know about the subject. If you have a project like you're selling alarms and they are requiring CCTV, but you don't know about it, you don't have to say no, because you can come to us and we will help you out to develop the project. That is one of the plus that you will have with us. We do not just deliver boxes. Okay, you have technical support, you have engineer support, you have trainings. Okay, even visit to the end user. So remember that. And we have one of the biggest warehouses. We have very good guarantee system. Okay, so if you have any questions, well, we are more than happy to answer them. Okay. Okay, well, so we want to obtain this presentation in Spanish. That's okay, that's no problem. Okay, that's no problem. Well, we can actually send you this presentation. There's no problem. If you need it in Spanish, we can send it in Spanish. We can do it both ways, so that's not a problem. Okay. So please, if you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to assist you with those doubts. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Just to clarify, the DVR sends directly to the OneDrive cloud storage. Yes, it is. It is that way. The files that are backed up, it's taken directly from the hard drive. In that way, if you don't have a hard drive, you cannot back it up. So yes, it is directly from the DVR. Okay, it says here, let me see this question. It says the turbo DVR's HDMI and VGA output works simultaneously. Yes, they work simultaneously. It's like a mirror. Whatever you see on the HDMI, you will see it on the VGA. They work simultaneously. Turbo DVR full frames, 30 images per second. Yeah, on the 81 series, you will have full frame. Thank you for having English webinar. My Spanish is not good. Well, you're very welcome, and we're looking forward to do more webinars on English. So thank you for the feedback. Let's see. So just internet connection and the EV series can connect to OneDrive, right? Well, pretty much all our DVRs will have internet connection, but only the EV series can use OneDrive right now. So only the EV series, okay? Any other questions? Okay, it says, can you show us how to configure the cloud service? Well, we can send you a manual. We have a manual to do it. It will guide you step by step to do it. So yes, we can show you how to do it. It's very simple, and it has image, and it tells you every single detail, or where you have to click, what you have to set up, where you have to go. It's a PDF file. We can send it to you. Just give me your email, and I will send it to you. Send me your email. Let me send you a message. Send me your email to send the file to you. Thanks. Okay. It says, do you see TurboHD to start upgrading to a higher resolution from 2 megapixels? That's correct. We will have up to 5 megapixel cameras, 3 megapixel, 5 megapixel cameras, and that is incoming this year. Okay, I got here your email. Yes, we can send you the presentation. No problem for that. It says, any analog camera can be plugged, or they have to be Turbo series? No, as we said, we can use any analog camera. There is no restriction. You can use any analog camera, but if it's Turbo HD or Full HD camera, it must be TVI camera or Turbo HD camera. Okay. Let's see. Can I use HD cameras and SDI cameras on a TVI systems? No, you cannot. It's only for TVI. TVI is with TVI. HD SDI is for HD SDI, and HHD. I don't know what kind of cameras do they use. They're going to be compatible only with themselves. The full compatibility will comes with the analog cameras, regular analog cameras. When you talk about HD cameras, it will be TVI cameras, Turbo HD cameras. Okay. Let's see. Nope, no that one. I like the PDF for OneDrive also. No problem, we will send it to your emails, or you have my email. Please, if you need that file, send me an email, and I will send it back to you. Okay. Let's see if there is any other questions. When you mention full frame in the XS8116, well, there's no question. You're just making a statement. Well, yeah, the 81 series will be full frame. It says, you mentioned IP cameras for the EV series can only be played back at 1 megapixel quality or 1.3 megapixels. If I use 3 megapixel IP, I can view it, but playback will be 1.3. Yes, it doesn't matter if you have a 3 megapixel camera. You will still Okay, let's talk about the EV series like 8 channel. Okay, if you're gonna use one camera, just one IP camera, it doesn't have to be 1 megapixel. It can be 2 megapixels because it's one. But if you use 2 cameras, they have to be 1 megapixel. It doesn't matter if your camera is 3 megapixel. You have to lower the resolution and you can use it. But it will be 1 megapixel. Okay, 1.3. Okay. Let's see if there is any other questions. It says, can I get the OSD menu of the camera through UTP Cat5 cable? Yes, you can get the menu directly. Just plug in the video and power. You don't need to do any extra wiring. You can get it directly. So you can call a menu just through the video. Okay. There is no problem. Let's see. Let's see. Well, it seems that there is no more questions. Again, if in the future or in the next days, weeks, or whatever amount of time, if you have any questions, if you have any project and you forgot or you don't have the information right away, just give us a call, send us an email, and we will be more than happy to assist you with whatever the need you may have. Okay? And I'd like to thank you all for joining us today, for taking your time to have this, to assist to this webinar. We will be looking for doing more webinars like this. And please do not hesitate to give us a call, send us an email, or pay a visit if you're local. Okay. My name is Leonardo Hernandez. I wish you all have a great day, and thank you again for joining us today. Bye-bye.